Okay, here's kind of a speed run of me creating a cloud character for my kids show that I've been working on. I wanted to try using this kind of voxel remesh feature, so that's what I'm gonna do here. I thought I would try this kind of cell shading look, so setting that up. This is gonna take some probably tweaking once I get it into the scene with different lighting. It's one problem with doing the cell shading stuff is you have to customize it for wherever this ends up being. I'm just kind of moving these balls around to get a sense of how well it's working, how it's looking with the shading, and just generally keeping this whole thing dynamic, not baking the remesh. I did flatten the face here, and that's because I'm expecting to put eyes and a mouth on this thing, and so I just want it to have kind of a flat face area. I'm jumping into this Yeti character from a different project, and I built this eye rig with the intention of being able to put it onto other characters. So this is kind of the first time I'm trying to do that, getting rid of the other armature, and I'm just gonna kind of customize these eyes to fit this cloud. Now, when I was thinking about doing a mouth for this, I thought I would try and just build this with shape keys. And I've never done anything quite like this before, but I just made this super basic shape, and I'm gonna subdivide it a little bit here. So I have some topology to mess around with. Use some proportional editing to kind of shape this thing a bit. So here's my basis shape, and then I know I just want a super basic ability to talk, so I'm gonna do this kind of like mouth open shape key. And eventually I'm gonna hook this up to a driver that will actually just take an audio file and just kind of like bop, 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 just open its mouth as it's talking, just like that. A couple other shape keys in here, like a surprise face. I'm going to add just in case I want to manually animate something. Now what I want to do is get that driver set up. And typically when I do this, I just add an empty or some kind of shape, slap a keyframe onto it. Usually for me it's scale, and I just want a value that's fluctuating from like 0 to 1. I'm just grabbing a random audio file from somewhere else in my project right now to test. And you can see with that sound to samples that got a little waveform there. Now I'm just gonna copy the scale as a driver and add it to this mouth open thing here. And then this should work to open the mouth. I did want that value to reach 1, and it was kind of a little low. So the way I chose to do that was to just edit the driver and kind of times it by a little bit to get it closer to 1. I'm just getting everything hooked up to a basic armature here, so it all can get moved around from one bone. So hooking up the eyes, hook up the mouth. Okay, so everything's attached to that. Here I'm just testing to make sure nothing gets wonky if I'm rotating it or anything like that. I'm adjusting the blinks here. I'm gonna link them up so I only have to animate one. And I'm just using shape keys again for the blinks, just basically crushing these things on the Y or the Z axis. So get them linked together, and then I'm gonna use a constant keyframes here in the timeline so that, you know, there's no animation between. You can't see how weird that looks. It's just gonna snap to the blink. And then I just wanna kind of extrapolate these so that they continue through the whole timeline. I messed up and I didn't use the right extrapolation, so I was just like, screw it, let's just throw a bunch of keyframes on there. So, and then I realized that I did the wrong thing later, so I went back in and I used the right extrapolation there. So either way, the last thing I wanted to do here was just give this cloud like a general sense of movement because he's floating around. So I threw in an empty, gave it a keyframe of position, and I'm gonna add some noise modifiers to this. I'm using this copy location, and the one thing that I've found from trying to do this, whether it's like a camera or anything else, is that it always ends up working best when the empty is just sitting at 0 in the middle of the scene. So that's kind of what I did there, is just would kind of like for it to be with the cloud, but whatever. I can move the cloud anywhere, and as long as that empty is just at the center of the scene, nobody's gonna see it. That's how I add wiggles to things. But yeah, there it is. There's a little basic cloud. There'll be a starting point for one of the characters in the next episode of the show I'm working on.